Good morning. My name is Terry Palin, and I've been a member of First UU for 9 years, and I presently serve on your Board of Trustees. Over the years, we have been learning that this congregation is the workshop of a common endeavor. When something needs addressing, we have our covenant and roles to play in furthering our vision and mission. Our founding members set us on this course 75 years ago. Living well in a democratic community involves an understanding that the congregation's needs may take priority over our own. We won't always get our way, yet it matters that we stay together and work it out. A good motto for our congregational life is stay calm, stay in relationship, and stay the course. As Maria Bush lights our chalice today, let's remember that we are gathered to celebrate the example of our founders. We thank and recognize them for co-creating, establishing, and serving this congregation. First UU San Antonio exists because of them. And yet, it is a better place today because of all of us.
What wondrous love is this, oh my soul, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this, oh my soul. What wondrous love is this that brings my heart such peace and takes away the pain of my soul, that takes away the pain of my soul. When I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down, sinking down, sinking down, when I was sinking down beneath my sorrow's ground, friends to me gathered round. Oh my soul, oh my soul, friends to me gathered round. Oh my soul. To love and to all friends I will sing, I will sing. To love and to all friends I will sing. To love and to all friends, to pain and sorrow mend, with thanks unto the end, I will sing, I will sing. With thanks unto the end, I will sing.
Good morning. Welcome to the First Unitarian Universalist Church of San Antonio. My name is Dorothy Wallace, and I have been a member of this congregation for 23 years. I currently serve as president of your Board of Trustees and co-chair for the 75th Anniversary Committee, along with David Rodriguez. Our church is meeting, just differently, online, by phone, and in person for those of us who live together. Yet our weekly worship continues to be an important way for us to connect, to be together, and to receive information and inspiration. At our church, we believe that we are united by a universal love that binds us in mutual care and affection, in our work for justice and for our planet. Our faith is all-inclusive, and all means all. If you are new with us today, wherever you are on your life's journey, we welcome you.
I'm going to light our chalice this morning as we recite our covenant that binds us together as a religious community. The words can be found in the order of service that is in the video description. Love is the doctrine of this church. The quest for truth is its sacrament. and service is its prayer. To dwell together in peace, to seek knowledge in freedom, to serve humanity in fellowship, to the end that all souls shall grow into harmony with the divine. Thus do we covenant with each other.
It's time to share our joys and sorrows as one of our time-honored Sunday morning traditions. As we enter into our hearts and minds in a very intentional way, let us remember that ours is a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find and make meaning. Ours is a sharing community where our joys are amplified, a caring community where our sorrows are heard and held in compassion. Especially at this time of uncertainty, we find ourselves not only as a part of a global pandemic, yet also more deeply involved and connected to each other. Let's join in silent meditation as we write our joys and sorrows on the chat screen and Jaime plays for us. I invite you now to take a deep cleansing breath as we share this time of reflection and prayer. Spirit of life and love, we come together as a congregation with both light and heavy hearts. This morning we rejoice with those who entered their joys on the chat, as well as those of us who are holding our joys silently in our hearts. At the same time, we know there are moments of sorrow in which we are here for each other in love. Such is the case for those of us who have expressed ourselves on the chat stream and for those who have silent sorrows. As a congregation, we hold in our hearts everything that is shared and unshared. May we honor and be present to all our joys and sorrows in our beloved community. And during this time of the pandemic, we offer our intentions for the health and well-being of our first responders, particularly EMTs and paramedics, pharmacists, healthcare and medical personnel. We also lift up the researchers and the developers of personal protective and treatment equipment, and grocery personnel and delivery persons, sanitation and recycling workers, ambulance drivers, mail carriers, truckers, cops, and firefighters, who are all working harder than ever to meet our needs. As well, we think of a whole host of artists, dancers, actors, musicians, stagehands, house managers, technical designers, and others who have lost jobs and their paychecks, yet are posting on social media, providing inspiration, even singing into cell phones. And we're thinking of those in government and public health who are shooting straight facts, distributing medical supplies, and making critical decisions based on scientific evidence, and who are bringing some light and clarity into this shared time of darkness and this entire new reality to which we are all adjusting. To all who are making things work, we give thanks. May we become more as one and grow in respect, appreciation, and love. Amen. Today's story wisdom is entitled Sustaining the Tree of Life by Lynn Gardner. The tree stood in the middle of the village. Its trunk was so large that it took 6 people holding hands to reach around it. The roots were strong and wide, and its branches spread out over the village square, offering shelter from the rain or shade from the summer sun. And its fruit was juicy, sweet, and plentiful. The people of the village loved the tree. Children played beneath it and climbed in its lowest branches. Young people knew that if you whispered your dreams to the tree, they were more likely to come true. People who proclaimed their love or friendship for one another beneath its branches found their relationships to be nourishing, and elders discovered that their sweetest memories could be counted on when they were near the great tree. The tree had been witness to so much, and when the breezes blew through the leaves, one could hear echoes of generations, laughter, conversations, dreams, prayers, and songs. Animals loved the tree too. Rabbits lived in burrows under the roots. Squirrels and monkeys lived in the branches, and bats and birds flew in to eat the abundant fruit. The tree was alive with life. One day, a traveling merchant arrived in the village. He rested in the shade and ate 2 pieces of delicious fruit. "This fruit is incredible," he said. "I would like to have some to sell in the next villages that I visit. Who owns this tree?" "No one owns this tree," replied a villager. "If anything, we belong to it." "Well then, if no one owns the tree, then no one will mind if I pick the fruit," said the merchant, and began to fill his basket. "I mind," said the villager, "and today I am the keeper of the tree." "What do you mean, keeper of the tree?" "We each take our turn here being with the tree. We could never own it. We are here as protectors and sustainers." "That's ridiculous. The tree doesn't need you. You can just take what you need, take what you want. The tree will continue," said the merchant. But the villager couldn't be persuaded. "Sir, this tree isn't like that. We don't come here to take from it, even though we receive much. We are keepers of the tree because this is where we are nourished. This is where some of our most precious memories are and where our people have dreamed. This is where we remember who we want to become." "Well," said the merchant, "you may think this tree is very special, but it still doesn't need you to sit with us. That is preposterous." "Ah," replied the villager, "the tree itself may not need me. But what of others who come by? Just this morning, I sat with a woman whose heart was heavy with worry. Had I not been here, she would have had to carry that weight alone. And this afternoon, a tired couple came by, and they rested with me. They said they had been looking for a place like this. And later, an elder came by, and we watched the birds in the branches together. And now you are here. You were confused about what this tree is and how to be with it. Imagine if you had arrived and not found anyone. You might have continued thinking that everything you do is all about you. Luckily for you, my friend, I'm here to let you know that when you care for the tree of life, it becomes about so much more than just you. And the merchant sat for a while in the shade, thinking about these ideas that felt new and a little challenging. And as the sun went down, he picked up his bag and headed out of town, whistling a song that he hadn't thought of in years. And on his way, he shared a smile with each person he met, his heart feeling strangely light and joyful. And the people of the village, they continued to sustain the tree of life, to care for one another and to share their gifts with grace and gratitude. May it be so for each of us. It's time for our invitation to generosity. As we prepare for this morning's offering, may each of us not only consider our financial commitment to our church, let us also look into our hearts and see what is available within us. How much commitment? How much love? How much generosity? How much faith? How much gratitude? How much work for justice? How much hope? And let us give our offering from that accounting. Let us give until it feels good. We are becoming our own version of beloved community. And I invite us all to consider the level of commitment that means. You may make an offering on our online giving portal through the link on the screen while we enjoy this wonderful music.
As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, sisters, let's go down, come on down. Oh, sisters, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, brothers, let's go down, come on down. Come on, brothers, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the starry crown, good Lord, show me the way. Oh, fathers, let's go down, come on down. Oh, fathers, let's go down to the river to pray. As I went down to the river to pray, studying about that good old way, and who shall wear the robe and crown, good Lord, show me the way.
There is no church without its people. We are this church. We are all keepers of the tree of life. We are all it means and stands for wherever we are, whoever we are, and however we are. We dedicate our gifts to the church we embody with our heads and hearts and hands. I mentioned first on Easter that a couple of our longtime members wrote about our membership and the federal stimulus checks. I'm going to say it one more time. And we know that because of the realities of our situations, a number of our members are really going to need the help of these checks and even more of our support from the ministries and community our church offers. We're mindful of this. There are some members, however, that might be open to making an extra donation when their checks arrive to help with the support of the ministries of our church. We believe there are members who would increase their support of our congregation's creative outreach and our community building work, if only we would ask. This government program will provide an unexpected windfall for some, and as a respectful suggestion, it might be good for us who can to support the broad scope of the work that our congregation is doing by bringing ourselves and the whole community together in this time of uncertainty and crisis. Thank you for considering this request.
And we will now recognize our founders. Our founders are the ones who gave us our name and developed the initial structure of our church. Later on, some of them physically found our campus, raised the money to purchase it, and created a beautiful and inspiring space. They're also the ones who made sure this was a safe and welcoming community with programs to promote justice and compassion, and who came together in times of strife and times of joy. They are the ones who made us into this community of support, challenge, and love.
Today, we recognize and honor these, our founders, and to do that, we will work from the present to the past, honoring all of us along the way. After each phrase, Dorothy, Reverend Mark, or I will say, "We thank you." Will all visitors, guests, and friends please indicate your presence, if you'd like, by entering your names on the chat stream now. Maybe you have come here today for the first time. Maybe you have been coming for many months or years. As a visitor, guest, or friend, we welcome you and the ideas and energies that you bring. As you challenge who we are and help to create who we will become, we thank you.
Will the youth and children please sign in on the chat stream? You are very much the present and the future of our faith. As children and youth, you have much to teach the adults about how the world works. For your joy and vision of the present and the future, we thank you.
Will those of you who have been members of this congregation for up to 1 year, please indicate your presence on the chat. You have made a special commitment to the vitality of this congregation. Your vision is already starting to make a difference in who we are. For this new commitment and your energies, we thank you.
Will those of you who have been members beyond 1 and up to 5 years, please sign in now. You are no longer the new members here. Your opinions and leadership have greater impact as your time and influences here lengthen. For your ongoing support and commitment, we thank you.
Will those of you who have been members from 6 to 10 years, please sign in. You've been a part of this community for even longer. You've helped to create who we have been and who we are today through easy times and through hard times. For your ongoing and steadfast influence and dedication, We thank you.
Will those of you who signed the membership book more than 10 years ago and up to 20 years, please sign in on the chat. You are longtime members of this community. You have likely served in a leadership capacity and helped to shape who we are today. You are faithful and loyal and have contributed much. For your extraordinary influence and dedication, we thank you.
Finally, will you members over more than 20 years please indicate your presence on the chat stream. You are the closest we have to founders and have made this moment possible. You are the seeds of our evolution, foundation, and backbone of what we are today. Each one of you is here because of your hard work and dedication. There is much for us to thank you for, and the following is only a small portion of the list.
For our inspirational buildings and spaces where we hope to gather again soon, we thank you.
For the hours spent in meetings, we thank you.
For the time and energy spent raising money, we thank you.
For the vision to work towards sustaining a faith of freedom and individuality in beloved community, we thank you.
For creating this beloved community, which feels like home to so many of us, we thank you.
For being your best selves and expecting us to live into our best selves, we thank you.
And we celebrate us. Amen. Blessed be, and may we all acknowledge and recognize ourselves.
They were justice-loving people who had open hearts and minds, and they longed to make a better world for all of humankind. In many faith traditions, they found many seeds of truth, and when they knew what they believed, they knew what they must do. They left us a legacy, serving humanity. Just look around and see, we're not alone. Beloved community, rich in diversity, our chosen family, calling us home. With compassion they were focused on the issues of the day, and when a change was needed, they joined hands and led the way. They could see what must be done, for they weren't blinded by a creed. They chose to meet each problem, not with dogma, but with deeds. Now we claim this legacy, serving humanity. Just look around and see, we're not alone. Beloved community, rich in diversity, our chosen family, calling us home. When we face future challenges, the past will be our guide, trusting that together we'll be working side by side, growing in the spirit, led by love instead of fear, building this tradition we will pass down through the years. We'll leave them a legacy, see they're not alone. Beloved community, rich in diversity, their chosen family, calling them home. They left us a legacy.
Let us share a prayer of thanks and benediction as we move from the expressed consideration of all the people comprising our beloved community, our guests, visitors, and friends, children and youth, members of various lengths of time, and in honor especially of our longest lived members. And finally, in remembrance of our founders. And may we go into our hearts now to give thanks. I invite us all to take a deep cleansing breath. Hold it for a few seconds to bring a stillness and calmness, and release it. Mystery of many names and beyond all naming, dwelling in us and throughout our amazing universe from whence we come and to which we return. We are so grateful for each and every one of us. May we be nourished by this beloved community and all these relationships so that we may be empowered to give life to life. And during this time of COVID-19 and our Sunday gatherings on YouTube and myriad Zoom sessions to stay connected, may we also remember to stay calm, stay in relationship, and stay the course. And finally, as we conclude our Founders Day recognition service, we invite all of us to be the founders of our next 75 years. We are the ones to do this. May it be so. We invite you to please proceed to the link on the screen for our coffee hour. Join with us in this safe and open forum. We need to hear your expressions and reflections about your lives. Please come and connect at our coffee hour. And for those of you who cannot join us, we bless you with these words. May all that is good and caring be with you, be in you, and be present through you for all those with whom you connect. Blessed be.